Hey everybody. So I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach this week to what I'm going to talk to you about. And it is relational to what we've been talking about in class and some assignments that we've had to do, as well as something that was the common theme throughout all of the groups that I was a part of last week. As many of you know, last week was election week, which has been a very stressful time for most everyone in this country. And most of the groups, the common thread was self-care. And I think it is a topic that most people kind of brush off, or they don't pay enough attention to, or put into practice in their life. And it was important to hear how the clients at the treatment center were practicing self-care during this very stressful time. And in my child welfare class, as well as my child and adolescent mental health class, both professors gave us the opportunity to alternate an assignment based on self-care and how we as social workers currently practice self-care, and how we plan to participate in self-care maintenance once we graduate and are in the actual social work field. And I think that this is important because social work can be very stressful, and a lot of stories that I've heard from people that are in the field of social work have talked about burnout. We read about burnout and have in numerous classes that I've taken so far. And I think that it is a topic that most people just kind of push away and continue to work as hard as they can in these everyday stressors of being in the social work field and working with clients that are also stressed out and not practicing self-care can eventually take a toll. And so last week was a good time to really sit back and reflect on self-care measures that we each individually take and what we do to help relieve the stress in our everyday life. And self-care is something for me personally that I am very grateful I learned how to do 10 years ago, and it has become a non-negotiable in my life. And every single day, maybe it's 5 minutes, or on the weekends if I have more time, I may spend 2 hours doing some activity where it lowers my stress and where I am taking care of myself. Because if I don't do that, then I can't give anything to anyone else. And the clients in the treatment center, they are just learning how to practice self-care, because most of them, especially those that have suffered with eating disorders, they have done the opposite for many, many years. Instead of self-care, they have practiced self-harm. So this is a new behavior for them, and this is something very new that is uncomfortable. But it was very interesting to hear about other people's experience with self-care, and it made me again reflect on things that maybe I can add to what I already do, or things that I can do a little bit differently, and also promoting self-care within my cohorts, and to be able to share my experiences with those clients at my field placement. So it was, again, a very stressful week for most every American, and I hope that everyone that watches this will take away from the fact of how important doing those acts of self-care are, whether you're in social work or whether you're in everyday life. So thank you for listening.